Done with the puns, let's talk about the film. What we have here, friends, is a just over 2-hour PG-13 affair with a ragtag group of people assembling together to take on a mysterious new threat. Kinda sounds like every single Marvel movie, sure, but there's more going on under the hood. Florence Pugh is going to be the focal character of this movie, and we're catching up with her in a bad time in life. She's having a hell of a case of the Mondays in this film. Really kind of down in the dumps, depressed about the death of her sister, Black Widow, and just kind of reflecting on the miserable life that she's had, trained as an assassin at a young age, killing a lot of innocent folks, doing things that she, at the time, probably thought were just causes, later only to reflect and realize, yeah, maybe I'm not the good guy here. She works for Valentina, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who was also in that Captain America and Bucky Barnes TV show, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, whatever it was called, I don't remember. It feels like there's already been 300 Disney Plus shows based on the MCU, and it's turned the whole thing into a convoluted mess. Which again makes this movie all the more surprising, because we are pulling and referencing a lot of different things. You would go into this stronger had you watched some of the Disney Plus TV shows, a lot of the movies in the MCU, but if you are fresh, or at least don't remember much of the past ones, good news, you're gonna be okay. Again, I took my kids, my daughter, 16, she's not huge on the superhero stuff. My son's like, if it's a cool dude doing cool things, he's okay, but females in the lead, ugh, gross. He's 13, calm down. He'll grow up a little bit. But both of them really enjoyed this movie. I had a good time too. It's not a 10 out of 10, but I don't think it's a 5 out of 10 either. I think it's, comfortably around a 7.5 and 8. Maybe I could be generous and throw an 8.5 out there. It moves quick for 2 hours. I will say the final act maybe slows a bit too much, but I also do appreciate some of the approach the story took in the third act. There's a good amount of action in this movie. There's a good amount of comedy. It doesn't feel like the same kind of comedy James Gunn would do. This isn't emulating what he has brought with the Suicide Squad or Guardians of the Galaxy. It does feel like its own type of road trip buddy movie. The director, Jake Schreier, does a fantastic job keeping this movie grounded. And it does help that none of these characters can fly or shoot laser beams out of their eyes. So a lot of the action scenes can be done more practically. Cars are actually flipping in the air and impacting on real concrete. Think The Dark Knight, where the Joker flips that giant semi. You get some of that here, to a lesser extent, of course. There is some good choreography. Thankfully, it's not masked by ugly, shaky cam like I just recently saw in Havoc. No, the director does a great job framing things up. You're able to keep an eye on what's happening in every scene. The jokes all pretty much landed, except for with Red Guardian, who for the most part, David Harbour is great at playing. Some of the jokes were a bit much, a little bit forced and campy at times, but the small grievance aside, the characters all play their part. Now, is Ghost suddenly awesome in this movie? No, she's still kind of as one-dimensional and lame as she was in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Did Taskmaster get some fleshed out backstory and a great glow-up? No, she doesn't. But Florence Pugh is more than making up for it as Yelena. She is great in this movie, like she typically always is. Besides her, our fake Captain America, John Walker, also was a nice addition to this cast. I mentioned Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I did not expect her to have such a large role in this film. It was nice. I'm a big fan of this actress. Love her in Seinfeld. She's brilliant in Veep, and here, no exception. I really enjoyed her more competent Amanda Waller approach. Don't get me wrong, Viola Davis is no slouch, but her character was so bad in the first Suicide Squad movie. Just completely inept. She had the stupidest plans ever, and the dialogue that she was given, oh my god. I threw him in the hole and I threw away the hole. Unfortunately, no one in this movie at any point says, so, what, are we some kind of Thunderbolts squad? That would have been funny, but no, that did not happen. This is thankfully a pretty damn contained storyline. And I am 100% serious when I say I'm actually excited for Fantastic Four and what they're gonna bring next. After some incredibly big misfires from this studio, the Eternals, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantum Shidia, Snore, Love and Dunder, and a string of these pretty awful Disney Plus TV shows, it seems at least that they're kind of starting to course correct. And seeing that they were able to take some of the lamest characters from their franchises and make this team fun and engaging, that shows me that, hey, maybe Disney's learning some lessons and they're going to take their time again to build up some proper stories. Because that's probably the best praise I can give Thunderbolts. It's more than just punching and shooting people this time around. There's plenty of that, and I think it all works really well, but we're dealing with a set of characters that feel like they've been thrown on the island of misfit toys in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. They have no real purpose. They feel lost. They're floaters, not sure what to do. And so forcing them to come together under some pretty dire circumstances makes for an interesting story. We get to dive into some of the psyche behind these characters, some of the loss that they've felt, some of the darkness they've left caged inside. And some of them are even harboring a very real, very serious silent passenger that people that don't have superpowers relate to. Now you'll notice I'm keeping things pretty coy, pretty vague, for a reason. I don't want to spoil the movie for people that haven't seen it. And also because I will have a spoiler video on this in a few days after people have had a chance to check it out. Unless they don't feel like it, then they can just watch the spoiler and that's fine. But I will tell you this, if you want to know whether or not you should stay for the end credits, there are two. There's one right away, and then there's another one after you have to sit through, your 4 or 5 minutes of all the people that work on these movies. You get one at the way end. Is it worth it? Let me work it. I think so. I think it's a fine, it's better than some of the last few we've had, which were atrocious. The bar's not set very high, but no, it's a good hype kind of ending that I think's worth sticking around for. There's some good jokes in there as well. Overall takeaway, Thunderbolts was good. I kind of expected I would enjoy this one going in. Thankfully, I was not disappointed. It was actually a bit better than I thought it would be. But now I want to hear from you.